So, now to the tempering of chocolate. My dark chocolate I use here is a 50%. Now on special orders then I can go up on those 80, you know, any chocolate bar you can buy in stores, I can make chocolates out of. But this is my regular. Now the special thing about these are they are all fair trade. Now these are some of the cheapest chocolates in Denmark I've gotten. They are around 70 kroner per kilo, which is around $10 or £7 per kilo. Got milk chocolate here, which is the one I can handle. I can't handle dark chocolate because of those 50%. And this is at least 30% cocoa, so that fits. Milk chocolate shouldn't be over around 33 or 35%. What we're going to start with is, if you have a melting machine like I have, and this is not a tempering machine, we're going to temper now, this is a melting machine. And dark chocolate has a good temperate chocolate temperature, yeah, at around 32 degrees. So this I've put on 31, so we're on the safe side. Now none of the chocolate must come over, I think it was 35, because then it would go, you would have to restart the whole chocolate process. Milk chocolate I put on 29. 30 should be safe, but to be safe, 29. So they each are around 2 degrees apart from each other, but it's important to keep those degrees. It is very important, very specific. Which is why we have this, a digital thermometer, which I really hope works. Yeah, still doesn't let me down. Now, of course, you can get infrared one, but like I said, I'm lucky with the stuff I got. So I'm going to appreciate that and enjoy. Get a cupboard, get some chocolate, let's say 400 grams. Get a blade. Now this is a ceramic blade, they're really good at cutting into chocolate. So we get the bowl ready. Now you want it cut fine, so of course if you have a food processor or something, then use that one. And then we just because the thinner they are, the faster they'll melt. Actually, we should keep this one on. Now another way, it's not really tempering, it's just heating the chocolate, is to take it up to the temperature that the chocolate likes. So basically tempering putting melting the milk chocolate up until it's on around 28-30 degrees. So we cut this very thin, so chopped it very thin so it melts very fast, which will also help. And then we put it in our chocolate melter. Yeah, I'm shaking the whole table doing this. Somewhat fine, not the finest, but it's fine. We'll start with that. We'll let it melt. And then we come back and then we're stirring it. Okay, people. So, cameraman husband had a technical difficulty, so stop with me. Now it's on 45 degrees, so what we simply do, other than clean this thing because it's dirty, is to stir it down to its right degrees, or there is another way. This one for the white chocolate was already set on 27, so we simply pour the chocolate in there. There we go. That. I'll just wipe this part away. Then needs to cool down this one, so we're going to put it up here. Now we'll cool it down to its preferred temperature. Now, I'm going to teach you a lazy way of doing things. If you're like me and you're very, 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 very lazy. Get a cupboard. Get some chocolate, let's say 400 grams. Get a blade. Now this is a ceramic blade, they're really good at cutting into chocolate. So we get the bowl ready. Now you want it cut fine, so of course if you have a food processor or something, then use that one. Now we just because the thinner they are, the faster they'll melt. Actually, we should keep this one on. Now another way, it's not really tempering, it's just heating the chocolate, is to take it up to the temperature that the chocolate likes. So basically tempering or melting the milk chocolate up until it's on around 28-30 degrees. So we cut this very thin, so chopped it very thin so it melts very fast, which will also help. And then we put it in our chocolate melter. Yeah, I'm shaking the whole table doing this. Somewhat fine, not the finest, but it's fine. There we go. Well, we'll start with that. We'll let it melt. And then we come back and then we're stirring it. So, see you later. My molds are here. Now we got some new ones and we got our old classic violin chocolate bar. We got the new pyramid and design bar, and then crowns. So what the plan is to do is I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to colour the molds first. So this will happen with some of the molds, and others it's not necessary. Like the chocolate bars, I'm going to have an upset, so that doesn't really matter. We're going to start with seeing how fast this hardens. Now, I'd suggest keep the room warm temperature, like normal living room temperature around 25 degrees Celsius, because then the chocolate won't harden on you. It'll take a little longer to harden, but when you are playing with the chocolate, then you've got time for it before it properly hardens, which is good. And then when you have filled all your molds up, then with chocolate, how I've done here, just as a test, then you can put a little cooler area, like a 10-degree room or something like that. Let it harden a bit more. If it's tempered, it should only take 3 to 5 minutes to properly harden. So this is hardening, but I think it's quite warm in here, so it's taking longer time. Then when we've put the filling in, which we will heat up so we can put it in piping bag and then pour it in, let that harden a little bit on the surface, put a bit more chocolate in to give it button that we turn upside down, of course. Then you can put in the fridge to let it proper set, like I talked about earlier, how with the chocolate, when you temper it, then it goes nicely together and it pulls in, so you can let it out of the mold very easily. And then you take it out of the fridge. Chocolate should never be in the fridge for a long time. It ruins the chocolate. Now I know some of you like chocolate that's cold, but I just feel sad when I hear that. But that's your choice. So now we got the little fishy, and you can see start to harden. Barely got any fingerprints there. So that's good. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, I guess I'll fill it with chocolate filling. Not chocolate filling. Oh yeah, chocolate filling for the chocolate. So I have done a lot of calculations about what, when, how and what. So I have it all on paper with how many I need of what, since again this is a budget making chocolate and I have limited resources, limited time, limited budget. So limited. So let's see. Okay. Can't seem to find that part. Funny, you think you have everything ready and then... So that and that is for nuts. Oh yeah, so that's caramel. This is peppermint. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the peppermint. Start with milk chocolate because milk chocolate can go into dark chocolate, but vice versa is not a good idea, especially when you're not sure what people can handle. So I am going to heat this peppermint up in the microwave. We'll see how smooth it gets. It must not be warm, because then obviously you'll melt the chocolate, which would be really annoying. Now this one is nice and cold, so we'll see how that goes. It's definitely very thick. Oh, the smell of peppermint. My husband's going to hold his nose now. Can you smell it?
No, I'm preparing.
He's preparing. Okay. There we go. Now it's a bit more runny, which is nice. So we just stir it a little bit. You know what I forgot? Scissors. Be right back. Scissors. So, before I put any filling in a piping bag so it gets hard and cold again and I can't use it, I will first make sure that the mold's ready. Now this one looks quite decent, so I'm actually going to continue, but I'm going to play a little with the colouring. So I gotta remember now what colour I was going to do this with. Now I've never done this before, so this is first time going on video. I hope I don't spray on the camera. Okay. Now the problem is really that I really don't remember what colour I wanted it to be. I think I wanted kind of a greenish. So I think I'll put green and silver out. If anything, I can always colour multiple colours. Okay. So. Let's take silver and green. So, shake content, and brush or airbrush a thin layer of melted cocoa into a chocolate mold or into an acetate sheet. Now I can tell you about it. So basically now, I'm going to shake it. Maybe I should just try with a brush, that might be safer for me. I got my airbrush. So. Yep, that's definitely how I see. Gotta melt it. Now, like I talked about before with cocoa butter, this is cocoa butter with colouring. That's how you colour chocolate. So when you see those YouTube videos of someone making a big sculpture, which is amazing, and colouring it into gold and red and that, now you know why. Okay, let's hope this doesn't explode. Now I'm just going to double check the instructions here. This is so hard to read. And the thing is only with English information on it, which doesn't really help much. I mean, obviously I can understand it, but still. Maybe it doesn't say anything. Okay, moving on. What's the worst that can happen? It explodes? Wait, should I open the lid? I'm gonna open the lid. My husband is looking at me like, oh yeah. Is this where I go, how long I've been working in kitchens for? Okay. Rock solid. Still very hard. Man, this stuff is good. So far, it's taking a lot of time. Oh, I do have brushes here. So I just prepare myself. Honest mistake. Whatever it is you say. It is still very hard. Don't get happy to do this. Like seriously, it's not even doing anything. Well, it's getting more. He's laughing at me now. So if the camera bounces, you know why. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stab it. Stop laughing at me. See, the colouring's down here. The cocoa is up here. I need that melted and mixed. It's taking a lot longer than I expected. Now you could also do a water bath, but I'm gonna go easy way for the first time. I learned that the hard way, to go the easy way first time. I'm literally cutting through it with this. That's how hard it still is. That way you go, it is supposed to melt, right? nothing. That's unbelievable. Well, now it's getting warmer. If it doesn't warm now, I'm gonna just cut, I think. I think the cameraman's falling asleep because the camera's crooked. Oh, yeah. Well, now we're getting there. So what, 2 minutes? You're falling asleep? Yeah, it's getting warm. I can press it now. Yay. If it gets all jumpy, we know who to blame. Ah. There we go. Well, it's melted now, but I'm going to give it a little more since the cocoa butter is not melted 100%. So, I'm going to give it a little bit more while I get the airbrush ready. No, that one's not one. All of them on. Good. This is going to shake everything, so I'm going to put it here. For those of you who don't know what airbrush is, it is an air compressor, however you pronounce it. That, with a machine, gets air through here in different speeds depending on how you push the rod. So air comes through here and blows here depending on the speed, depending on how you press the trigger. So instead of having a whole lot of mess, you, if you can, open this one, put whatever colouring you have in here, and then the air just blows it around. Quite simple, quite smart, and very practical when you want to decorate something fast. It can be used on things like icing, fondant, chocolate. It's all about what kind of colouring you have. So I've never done it before with cocoa colouring, so. hope I haven't given it too much, and otherwise we've got a problem. So, let's try this shit out. I really hope this does not fall down. So. Now you can hear already the wind. Yeah. So I'm going to do it over here just as a test. Forgot an important thing. Need a hairdryer to warm up the gun. So 2 seconds, be right back. Okay. Got my hairdryer for my airbrush. I really hate this thing. Just not like coming off for me. Okay, so there we go, now it's running smooth. Let's try this again. Definitely silver coming out. Let's try here. Well, you can probably barely see it on camera, but it is coming. Got a nice gloss on.
Good.
So, now I figured it all out with colouring, which I'll show in a little bit. But now I got some molds that I filled already for the first try that I had to do because there was problems with the cocoa colouring. So what you do when you're done with these have when I fill them with chocolate over the peppermint, then I put them in the fridge for between 5 minutes and 20 minutes depending on. And you can see when they're ready by it's more loose around the area, it's more air in there, you can see that. Like this one is less ready than this one. And a trick to do that, so it's more ready, is simply do like that. Then you should see that, whoops, that fell out, that they're all airy now. And then we have this underneath this blanket so that they just can fall out. Feel that? Now some of them didn't get all colouring, but that's the way that is. That's okay. This is handmade chocolates after all, so you can't really get things very perfect. So you can see here, this is the first round that I tried. This all around. I mixed green and silver in that one, but here the silver has been overtaken by the green. And so to the violins. Same concept with it. I don't want to turn them around just in case something happens, so you can hear it letting go. And then very gently I'm going to, instead of turning around since there's so many of them, I'm going to do like this. And you can see here it looks airy. Here you can see it clearly, the chocolate. This is what we want, not this. So let's see how many came out. None of them. Let me do a little tap. There was a few. Oh, there was one that broke off. There we go. There was a few that's broken, so I'll have to do a second round of violins. There we go. Now this is what happens if it's not all airy, so not all of them came out well, but that's the way that is. So now I find the ones that are nice and I put them over here. Now make sure that they don't have holes in for the filling, because that does not help on keeping them nice for when they get gifted. This one's also good. There will almost always be a few that's broken. Luckily, that's what I call test subjects. This one's also broken, so there's only half of them that I can use. But we'll make more just in a bit.
Yep.
So guys, let's get this coloured. The violin's going to be green, because that's the colour we have made. So that's just the way that is. So I've learned how to use this chocolate colouring. Hair dryer helps a lot. You see? Starting to melt. It's already starting to melt, so. Okay, let's see if this works. Maybe I should turn on the machine. There you go. Yep, coming out nicely. Don't know if you can see it. Up against the light, you can probably see that it's quite green one area.
Yep.
So it's working.
Max! Max! Enough! Sing! Ah! Good boy.
So compared to the other ones I've made, these ones are just a bit tanned. Since we don't need green violins. Okay, so we take the chocolate, milk chocolate. Now we stir around. And then how many do you want? Now because some broke before, then I'm going to make a little bit extra just in case. So I'll just slam that bitch there. Sorry. Sorry about my language, it just came. I'll just get that really everywhere. There we go. And just make sure that there's no holes or anything. And then I take the excess chocolate away so that it doesn't overrun my fingers when we tap, which you'll understand in a minute. There we go. So now, get a cloth because it's going to be noisy, and slam it, but don't break it. This we do for air bubbles. As you can see, if we had overflown it with that excess chocolate, it would have come all over. So there's already quite a bit here. And you can see all the air bubbles there and popping out there. There we go. And now to the noisy part. The reason why my cutting board is chocolate coloured. Slam it, slam it, slam it. Again, if we had excess chocolate from earlier, it would get even more over my hands. And then while you hold the mold like this, then take the scrape and scrape it, because that way you won't get anything stuck in the molds. Just going to give it. There you go. You see? And then I just double check that there's enough space most places for the peppermint. If there isn't, then you can give it a little extra bang. Oops. Just stuck my finger in by accident. Just removing all those small parts so I can get chocolate in there later. And then removing all the excess chocolate from here so that when it hardens it's nice. Man, I was about to drop it. Yeah, make it clear here, and then put on. Then while that hardens, you clean up. I mentioned this is the dirty part, or rather the messy part. There you go. I'm going to stir that in so the chocolate that's already melted can help melt the other chocolate. And you can keep on doing this because all that chocolate that I just put in does is cool this chocolate down. So it just gets colder and then it gets heated up again to the right temperature. So it's kind of like it re-tempers itself all the time. And I just continue using chocolate and don't waste any. So that's nice. There we go. And that was the last milk chocolate I was going to make. So now I'll show you again the procedure with dark chocolate. Oh, my back. Yeah, your back will hurt. So let's colour these fishies in. You can see it much better now, huh? Now making sure it's not hit the head. So it's kind of like the chocolates over there. Except for we are missing a little bit of silver. My silver is now cold, so I kind of like the silver. So I think I'll just make that quick. This is the technique I've learned. See if that's melted enough. Nope. Should get rid of any colouring that's on the other outside of it, since that will stain your fingers and maybe stain tables and that, which you don't want. Like for some reason there's green colouring on this, and this is the silver, so it's kind of not good. Oops. Just sprayed some onto one of my cupboards. Is that what you go, don't tell the husband? Seriously, why is it so damp? Been colouring all over the freaking place. Must be the outside. Still go for it. What I'm going to do is take some of the white, silver colouring, just about melted, and drip it in. Then close that. And then with this one that's already been in there, I'm going to stir it around so it gets that extra shine. And put this so it can harden. And then go again. Yeah, now it's coming. I sometimes check the compressor to make sure that it doesn't fall down since it does shake. You see it's getting all glittery now, which is nice. I turn it like this so that it's easier with gravity and the colouring. Remember not to get too close with the airbrush, otherwise it'll blow away the colouring, which you don't want. There we go. Get that chocolate close to me. This is why I keep the room warm, because then I can do all this without the chocolate hardening first. Straighten back, and then here, it's looking good, it's looking good. And then we turn it just to get a bit more on the other side. Look at that, it's holy. Oh, now you can see some spots of mist, so we go and refill them. And then we shake that a bit more. There, you can use your hand if you want. Just gonna get this out. I think I'm missing it. Still some spots, but I can quick cover them up. This is important to do to make sure the filling doesn't go out. Keeps on going like that. Having some rope chocolate right now, so I'm having to extra that one. It's just not good since my back is hurting. Okay, let's try that. Probably some of the best I'm going to do for this. There we go. Then we'll leave that there to harden. And again, clean up. And we let that remelt while we let that harden. And have a cloth to dry your hands. Because you don't want chocolate everywhere if you can avoid it. Okay. Let's check how these are doing. Yep. Pretty much hardened. So now time to do the peppermint filling. Now this I already put in piping bag. So like I said before, with heating up to make it more fluid, we can do that. Now don't do it for too many seconds since we don't want it so hard melts chocolate. But just enough that it can come out somewhat easily. Whereas I'm going to give it a little bit more. That does it. I'll put that on it. Okay. Then you squeeze it down, but make sure it doesn't pop up too much, since then it'll That'll make it easy to close the chocolate. And then I do a little tunnel there. There we go.
Pause.
Then we just knock it a bit, just to get that a bit more fluent around. And we just continue. And we just use the finger there to push that one down, to get a little bit more there. That one didn't go too well. There's still opening, that's not good. We'll try still. Luckily I made so many just in case one broke. Out of filling. Giving it just a fast heat boost so I can put it in the piping bag.
That bag's really starting to hurt. What?
Oh, now it starts to really smell peppermint. Get that, yeah. Ah. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, and over to the heating. Just to smooth out a bit more and make it easier for me to pipe. Okay, let's finish these. There we go. Then we leave them there to harden the inner so we can put chocolate over that. See how this is. No, still not hard and still not hard enough in that. So well, come back to this in a bit. Okay, so after you've left the peppermint fillings for a while, then they should be hard. Well, that's squishy, but as you can see when I just touch it, it's fine. And remember, my hands are washed. So now what we do is we fill these. Why do we do that? Because while those harden the fillings, then we can fill this with chocolate and put in the fridge. So I'm going to put that over there and get the chocolate out. Wait a minute, not the chocolate, what am I doing? The filling. Wrong filling. Wrong. So hair dry to make it nice and smooth. Again, make sure it's not too warm so you melt the chocolate, since that would not be good. Now when you use icing bag, you have the parts that the filling that you're going to use down here. You wrap this around so it's nice and tight and the filling doesn't go everywhere up here. Then you hold it like this so it's nice and tight. And then you can adjust squeezing with your hand, where you hold this mainly and squeeze with this mainly. Yeah. Remember to leave some space between the filling and the top of the chocolate for when you put the top chocolate in. There we go. There. And just double check that none is poking up. Yep. Yeah. And then we switch. There we are. So now this is hard. While that hardens the filling, then you're going to take the milk chocolate and we're going to put it in this one. Make sure it doesn't go out. Use the hairdryer to get the top part melted and everything, all the chocolate, that residue that was already in the bag. Hopefully that's not too hot. Whee. Oops. I'm going to shake it so it doesn't go out pouring everywhere. There we go. Oh, you want it a bit less loud? Then we're going to give it a good banging. This is where you're allowed to be nitpicky. I find, definitely. But then again, when you make things like this, you always tend to be more nitpicky than the people that receive it. That one doesn't look that nice. So I just dip this in chocolate first, and then I just cover it up. I don't like it 100%. There we go. Somewhat clean all the way around. We are putting that in the fridge. Like I said, you get nitpicky. Ah, see you in a bit. So hopefully, yep. Just calculating fast. Oh. So, let me show you how to use a piping bag. Put this one away because we're going to go to dark chocolate now. Done with milk chocolate for now. So, go back. Do not stick your hand in. Bad with hygiene. Take instead your thumbs like this, and you bend it over as far down as possible. Put your hand in like that, so you're like a cup. Put it all the way over, and then you open. Or you can, with the tail, pull it up, then it'll open even more. Then, if you are quite messy like I can be, then you can fold it, to show you that instead. Fold it a few times, and I'll show you why in a bit. Now you've got big hands like me, you'll have to use only 2 fingers for this, but that's okay. fill it in. Okay. There we go. Pull it down. Take this further. There we go. Then you pull it up. And whoopsie, you've got nice clean plastic for where your hands are going to go. That's why it's nice to bend it multiple times. Look how clear that is. Nice and clean. Now let's see if we can use this amount of chocolate. So remember what I said before, we're turning it. Cutting a hole, rather too small and too big. You can always remove more, but you can't add. So straight across, and then just a little bit. And then to make sure everything goes fluently, put it there. Now that's too small, that hole. Since we want it to go very easily with pouring things. So make it a tad bigger. That's better. Let's see if this is too small or not. Now because of my hands, I'm going to hold it like this. Oh, is it air bubble? Might actually have enough chocolate here. I did not expect that, I must admit. There we go, just filling a bit more in there, just that. Oh! Get the back up straight so you don't break it. Just going to clean the area so it's easier for me to hold it. There we go. Now I'm doing this just to clean it a bit more. I'm just doing some extra filling. All those pops you hear, that's air bubbles. And the chocolate. There we go. Now I take this one, scrape excess chocolate away. And then we butter it up. Apparently I didn't have enough chocolate. So you just add more and more. And then we scrape. There we go. not all is clear here, so I'm trying to make it as nice as possible. There we go. Yep. Looks good. Well, in the fridge it goes. See you in a bit. So now they're out of the fridge. They've been in the fridge for about, what was it, 20 minutes or so. So you can hear that they give away. And let's gently get them out of the molds. That looks like the way it should be. You can barely see the green. Try not, oops, one broke. Try when you throw it and make sure it doesn't bounce up again because that can break them. Let me just. There we go. Over there. Put them over here so you can look at them closer. Ah, can't forget the shape. And all of them seem to be whole except for one, so get one try. Ta-da! And as you can see, on the filling here, peppermint filling, how that looks. Really nice. We will take a knife. Look at that. Now that for me is a perfect filling almost. And it tastes really good of peppermint. And probably smells of peppermint. No, doesn't smell peppermint. I can't smell it and husband, luckily, can't smell it. So that, put to the side. Okay. Now for the fishies, the dark chocolate, the first dark chocolate. So again, shift it like that. Up here so it doesn't break when it falls. That's two. That was the rest. Yeah, one died there. So wait, well, I'll just, the fishies there. I was wondering what was so ridiculous. Now one thing you could do is, let's say you don't have any more chocolate really or anything, is heat up the bag. Just a tiny bitty bit. And with that heated bag, you can just dab on where the chocolate broke a bit to fix it without showing too much. So, more there. This one apparently broke multiple places, which sucks. It never used just then. Again, first time for this mod, so that one I'm going to let harden like before, and then I'll scrape away the excess chocolate. if it would stick to it. Okay, 2 seconds, gonna add a lot more. Since this thing does not want to work with me. And then this one. That one's tricky. Now something you can do, if you wanted to, is to refill this. It's too hard. Refill this. There we go. And put this one in. It won't be as pretty, but it could save the day. There we go. Then I'll take this one too. Okay, that one's almost... that will not look pretty. So we'll see what we do with that one. Let's put this in the fridge for 5 minutes or so. Yep. Nice pepperminty filling. Well, as you can see here, that is the green colour with a little bit of white and some silver here. So that's milk, that's dark. The dark ones haven't got too much silver in them. I really like setting these up properly. See how this one's going. Now what I would do here, press this down so all this comes off. And then just scrape gently away. I think this will be a tester for anyone that likes dark chocolate who comes to a house. Remember when you touch chocolates when they're done, it's a really good idea to have cotton gloves. And with the plastic gloves, first to make so much plastic in the world, but also it will heat your hands up and you get all sweaty. And remember, every time that you've used them, to wash them at a 60 or 95 degree, depending on the instructions, then go for it. But that's what I use here when I sort them out and put them in buckets. I don't hear any cracking, so it might be that this is a lost cause, but we'll see. No, it's just not hardened enough. Yeah. Not much to do but put it back in the fridge. Yeah, well, so now we've done all the milk chocolate of peppermint filling. Then after this fish comes out of the fridge, then we will start with dark chocolate peppermint filling. And then I think we'll go to the caramel, where it will be light milk chocolate and dark chocolate. And then after that to the cocoa bars. So yeah, that's what we'll do after the 5, 10, 15 minutes have gone of waiting for this one. So yeah. So now I got the mold, the mold, that's the thing, out of the fridge and knocking it out, and voila, it is fixed. Now you can see the miscoloring, so what I'm going to do is use the airbrush to give it colour. And then, if the cameraman comes over here, you can see the green colouring on the cupboard, the chopping board thing. So, now we need to make a portion of dark violet. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit from the container instead. If I can. Oh. And bloop, in it goes. Since the hairdryer doesn't really want to work on the cocoa fast, I'll just do it this way. Okay. Turn on the hairbrush.